Welcome to another episode of Message from Mom, where we're busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law. And I'm joined by my lovely co-hosts who happen to be my daughters-in-law. So to the left of me is Kelly.
Hi, I'm Kelly, and I'm married to Beth's oldest son, Alex.
And to the right of me is Chelsea.
Hi, I'm Chelsea, and I'm married to Beth's middle son, Andrew.
And we are right in the thick of fall, so we've been taking deep dives into all the fall topics. We talked about fall TV shows. Today it's all about fall fashion trends. So I'm very excited about this little topic because we do happen to work in the fashion industry somewhat.
Mm-hmm.
We're not magazine editors or anything like that, but we have our own thoughts on the fashion industry, and we sling a lot of fashion content out every day, ladies. So all right. Well, before we get into this episode, let's raise our glasses in a toast because we know you don't have to be a blood relative to love your relative. So cheers, ladies.
Cheers.
Cheers. Cheers.
There we go. And today's message from Mom's really very brief, but since we are on the topic of fall fashion, when I was growing up, fall back to school shopping was the big thing. So I wasn't necessarily tuned into all of the fashion magazines yet when I was in elementary school. Although that changed when I went to middle school and we had like 17. That was one of the first magazines that became my Bible. Was 17, loved it. And all the ads. I remember Cheryl Tiegs was one of the models back then that and she would be Sherry Noxzema and all the different things. But I just have great memories of going back to school shopping with my mom. It was all things fall fashion and really whetted my appetite. Even though when I went back to school after Labor Day, it was still hotter than blazes out. But I had that suede skirt and that mohair sweater waiting in the wings. But it was really quite the experience because my mom and I would make a day of it. And it was just a girls' day out, and we always had lunch. And she grew up with fountain drinks, and her favorite was a chocolate Coke. So we would always find a little restaurant that could come up with a chocolate Coke. So I grew up on those two.
Oh, that's
or at
so
least
cool.
or at least once a year I would have that. And yes, we would just fill my shopping cart up, but she loved to shop for me. And, so she would pick this out and she'd be like, "Oh, Beth, I think, this would be perfect for this and this would be perfect for that." So she had a really great fashion sense. So that's what I just think of when I think of fall fashion. But I think I am not alone when I say that fall fashion is my favorite season for fashion. So I'm very much looking forward to this topic. So, and we do have two foundational pieces, and we will link this. If you're watching this over on YouTube, we will link those in the description box. But we have one that says 13 fall trends, and this is what the Vogue editors are adding to their carts, and that is from Vogue magazine. Yes, we still have a few fashion magazines hanging on by the hair of their chinny chin chin, and Vogue is one of them. And the other, no, actually we have several foundational pieces. We have four. Then we have 14 fall fashion trends you need in your closet, and that's Glamour from September 24. And Glamour is strictly an online magazine these days. They don't have, like Vogue, you can still pick it up at your newsstand or have it mailed to you, but Glamour is strictly an online magazine. Harpers Bazaar, 20 fall outfit ideas to steal from Street Style, and that is also their September issue. And you can still get that on newsstands. That much I know. And how many? I'm actually trying to think how many magazines we can still pick up these days.
I think In Style, Vogue. I think Marie Claire is still printed.
Is InStyle still printed? I haven't seen an InStyle print magazine in a long time. Really?
They are.
Okay.
Yeah.
I kind of thought they were just online too.
And Harpers.
Harpers is.
Yeah.
Vogue is for sure. Harpers. Well, I'm going on a trip, so I will be at the newsstand. So I'm going to see what's actually out there.
Yeah. Vanity Fair also usually has some bit of fashion.
Yes, they do. So anyway, well, I'm going to kick it off. And really, it's just super loosey-goosey. We can talk about trends because I do know what is trending this year. I just did a YouTube video on fall trends that I'm wearing. And one, I don't really think that this really is a trend, but we know that fashion is cyclical. So They will pull back on certain items one year and then make a big push the next year. But leopard is back with vengeance
It's like
this
really
year.
back.
It is huge, huge, and I'm here for it because I love
I love
leopard.
leopard.
Yeah.
I think it's a great accent piece. I don't care if it's trending or not trending.
Yeah.
I love a little leopard belt or leopard shoes, leopard pumps. I've even had leopard boots before.
Yeah, I really love
Uh,
it too. And I'm glad that it's trending
Uh-huh.
because I think in the past few years, I've always wanted to, accessorize with something leopard, but always have a hard time linking similar things for
Mhm.
folks to look at and purchase
Mhm.
because it's just not been available as it is now.
Mhm.
So I'm really glad. I want
Mhm.
everybody to snap up all the leopard pieces
Mhm.
so that when it kind of falls back out,
Mhm.
maybe
Of
next year or the year
favor.
after, you'll have
Uh-huh.
your collection of leopard things that you
Uh-huh.
can always go
Mhm.
back to. Because
Well, and I remember Jenna Lyons, and she was the powerhouse behind J. Crew for
Mhm.
many years. She was the creative director
Mhm.
for that brand, and she claimed that leopard was a neutral,
Mhm.
and I agree. I mean, she
Mhm.
she paired it with everything, and I think it really
Yeah.
is a neutral as well. So,
It reminds me of so Heather McMahon, the comedian
Mhm.
that
Mhm.
she's now has like a Netflix show, but I've been following her for a while
oh, she's a
on
Netflix show. I
Instagram.
didn't know
Yeah.
that. Okay.
But I've been following her for a while on Instagram before she actually, kind of blew up. And I've gone to one of her shows and we went to the Chattanooga one, but she's very big on leopard and she's
Mhm.
always been very big on leopard. Like
Uh,
this was maybe like 3 years ago, 3 or 4
mhm.
years ago, when we went to her show in Chattanooga, and it was a group of us. And when you go to her show, you wear leopard.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like everyone when you're out and about,
Oh.
like in Chattanooga at the bars, that they went to
Uh,
the Heather McMahon show because they're
yeah.
in leopard.
Mhm.
Mhm.
That's fun.
So
I like that.
she's been
Super
styling
cute.
leopard forever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Well, some people think it's very tacky.
hmm
Some people think that it's very. If you remember the show, Married with
Married with
Children,
Children, yeah.
Peggy
Lisa Bell,
Bundy
yeah. Mhm.
was famous for wearing head to toe leopard.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will come over just over on YouTube or Instagram. Every once in a while, I will get this. Oh, that's so tacky. Nobody should be wearing leopard. And I'm like, oh my gosh, just open up your mind because it's such a great.
Yeah.
It's a fun.
Neutral print.
It really is, and take a walk on the wild side and really embrace leopard because this is a year where you're going to
Yeah.
find it everywhere,
For
everywhere.
sure.
So Chelsea, what is one of your favorite trends this year?
Well, I feel like I've been seeing a lot of suits, like
Mhm.
suit pieces. I feel like
Mhm.
Kelly, you just recently shared a 3-piece suit, which I really liked.
It was super cute. It was a pinstripe
Yeah, it was
suit.
super
Stripes.
cute.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
It was a
Um,
vest and a blazer and
so I like
pants.
that
Trousers,
for like
yeah.
women's
Uh-huh.
fashion.
Mhm.
That's kind of coming back and
Mhm.
like the 3-piece
Mm-hmm.
aspect of it. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if that ever really went away, but
I mean, there again, I mean, fashion is very cyclical,
yeah,
so they do have things that are hot
yeah,
and not, and trending and not trending. And I do think that the suits are very big
Yeah.
this year
Yeah.
and have been for a couple of years, but particularly this year. And so vests are very big.
Mhm.
And then one of the things I'm really noticing are the strapless vests too.
Oh, yeah.
the strapless vest.
Mhm.
Mhm.
I like the wide leg trousers.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
feel like
Mhm.
with the suits, I
Mhm.
like that
Mm-hmm.
a lot.
So you like the wide leg trousers
Mhm.
and the suits.
Yeah, I've been enjoying that.
Kelly, how about
Yeah,
you?
back.
What's one of
Well,
your favorite trends this year?
definitely leopard and definitely the menswear inspired stuff.
Mhm.
I've always been
Mm-hmm.
really attracted to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm glad to see it come around in a bigger way so I can add more things to my collection and
Mhm.
know that they'll, have staying power.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the things that you actually featured this recently and you talked about is countryside chic or
Or English country.
English countryside,
Mhm.
whatever they're calling it. It's
Mhm.
called a few different things over, a course of different stuff.
Right.
But and that's really layered looks with a lot of plaid and florals
Mhm.
and tweeds and herringbones and different
Mhm.
things like that because I just love. I mean, I like pattern all year round, but the winter patterns and the fall
Mhm.
patterns are really fun because they are very much menswear inspired
Mhm.
patterns.
Mm-hmm.
But the layering for different textures and things like that, I really like all of that, and I love florals with stripes and plaids and things
Mhm.
because it's just
The pattern mixing
it's
and
fun to wear.
Mhm.
Well, I'll tell you who really killed it was Ralph Lauren. I mean, I
He
love him
always does, I think.
anyway.
Oh yeah.
I love him, but his take on fall fashion was bar none the best. And
Always like very
especially
classic and
he's so classic, and
yeah.
he just knows how to do like the English countryside trend.
Yeah.
I mean, he does it so well.
Yeah.
And so you have the riding
Mhm.
boots, and then you have, then you have this, then you tuck in the corduroy trousers, and then
Mhm.
you have this shirt, and then you have that sweater, and and as you're saying, so just layer upon layer, and
Layers.
Need a
yes.
bunch of pieces to make it happen,
Uh-huh.
but
I know. I know. I love it. I'm here for it. But honestly, I mean, in the English countryside, and it's based on their traditions of hunting and fishing, and so we have a lot of
Mhm.
the items that are going to help with inclement weather. Like, and that's why barn jackets or field jackets are so popular,
Right.
is because they really have a purpose.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love to see how then the fashion houses or fashion brands can then translate that into how we can wear
Mhm.
it.
Right.
hmm
Right.
Yeah,
From
for
the
sure.
runway. But I like that trend a lot.
Yeah,
That's
it's a fun one
one of
because I
my
think there's a lot
favorites.
of different ways you can go.
hmm
Another thing that you'll see it labeled as this year is the return of boho.
hmm
So when they're talking about
Also
that,
seen
they're
that too.
referring back to that same kind of English countryside stuff.
hmm
And that includes so many things like all the suede. Like the
hmm
suede is really big this year.
Very big. I
Mhm.
never think it goes out of style, but there again,
I don't think it does
when
either.
we're
It's just
talking
in
about
terms of availability, I think,
right,
right?
when we're talking about
Um,
cycles and trends, yes. So this year, if you love suede, I mean, snap it up because
yeah.
it's everywhere this time of year,
Yeah.
and I'm here for it. But and I always like to collect different pieces
hmm
through the years, and so this is a good time to
Mhm.
wait till it goes on sale, or because suede can be very, very expensive.
It can.
And I don't mind faux leather, but I'm not a big fan of faux suede.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I
Mhm.
will say, though, that I did
I like
wear,
the real deal when it comes
Yeah.
to that.
I did grab a faux suede dress from Loft.
hmm
And I think that there's a couple different ways that they can do faux suede, and this way where it's just fabric that just has kind of a brushed look to it,
hmm
which is
Mhm.
way more comfortable to wear than something like a um like a plastic based faux leather is
hmm
usually like can be pretty uncomfortable
Mhm.
because it doesn't move, it
Yeah, it's
doesn't,
like super
yeah,
snug.
it's just not very, it's not very forgiving. And
hmm
but I think if you can find faux suede that is just a fabric that has a brushed exterior, then
hmm
it's like wearing a cotton dress or something, but
hmm
or a sweater dress, but it just has the kind of exterior look of a brushed
hmm
Mhm.
material,
hmm
which I actually quite like.
So you like your loft dress, the
Yeah,
faux
the
suede?
faux suede swing dress. It's like
hmm
a shift dress. They have one at Ann Taylor that's basically the same thing, but it's long sleeve. But the one I
Okay.
have is just a tank.
hmm
Mhm.
But very comfortable, especially for this time of year where we want to look fallish because it is officially fall.
hmm
But the temperatures aren't really
Right.
letting us
Mhm.
Well, we live
go
in
head to toe.
Georgia, so
Yeah.
yes, we have extenuating circumstances with our fall. It's a little bit later in the
Yeah.
year. We
End of
do get
October.
cold.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it does. The temps definitely change, and our leaves actually turn colors and they drop off. Because I was laughing. I've shared this over on YouTube before, but I lived in Houston for 5 years, and that culture, not culture, but that climate is hot and less hot. I
Yeah.
mean, there's no four seasons there.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So if you really want to embrace fall fashion, you will just change your color of your shorts
Oh.
to to olive green or burgundy. I mean,
Mhm.
Yeah.
that's that
Oh gosh.
that's a skinny there. So
Yeah.
so at least Georgia, at least
Yeah.
we do get the four
Yeah.
seasons, and I appreciate that. But yes, but it's I mean, even this past week was pretty warm.
Yeah.
I mean,
It has been.
we've kind of gone up and down, but so what else are we thinking about for fall fashion that we like?
I'm really glad that preppy is back I mean,
Mhm.
like with all of these things, I think we have, at least I know that the
hmm
three of us sitting here have the idea that all of the things that we've just talked about have never truly gone out of
Right.
fashion.
hmm
They're just more abundant
hmm
in stores now, so we can put together new
Mhm.
outfits with things that are brand new.
It's easier to shop.
It's easier to
hmm
shop.
Like the
Um,
ballet flats and the
hmm
exactly.
cashmere
Yep.
like
hmm
crew necks.
Mm-hmm.
But I will say I've been very pleased with this year's, what the stores are offering as opposed to probably the past, since COVID. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
this is I think the best season that we've had in a very long time.
Yeah.
And I think probably since like 2019.
Yeah.
So even though, I mean, there's always something that you can find every year, But this year, it seems like I like everything, which is a little dangerous for my for my
Yeah.
wallet because I was like, oh, I have to have this and I have to have that. But it really does seem to be like a return to the classics
It
Mm-hmm.
does.
in a way, even
Yeah.
though they're not saying that, but in my mind,
I
that's
think
what
it
I'm
is.
thinking.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yeah.
even like I mean, I don't think that this has ever gone out of style, but like trench coats, I feel like I've been seeing those a
Mm-hmm.
lot.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Mm-hmm.
I actually don't own a trench coat. I feel like that's something
Oh,
that
you
You should
should.
get
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
I
It's always
should.
good to have at least one.
Definitely. I just purchased a new one from Saison that I absolutely love because it has a plaid lining.
Yeah.
So you can roll the cuffs up and then the
Mm-hmm.
plaid's peeking out and then
Yeah.
if it's not buttoned, then you can show off your lining. And I remember back in the day my mom would always tell me, "Oh, you can tell that something's really of, quality if the inside is just as nice as the outside."
Oh
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I
For sure.
agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Definitely.
sometimes things like that
It's like
really.
2 outfits in one
Uh-huh.
almost. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Another thing I think that when something comes back into fashion, like say trench coats, you just not only do you find more of them, but you find more variety in
Mhm.
what you find, right? So like
Yeah.
this plaid lined
Mhm.
trench coat, or you see them in different colors than you
Mhm.
normally do.
Mhm.
Different materials, like actually Madewell has, and if they sold it in petites, I would 100% buy it, but they don't, so I probably won't.
Mhm.
But a denim trench coat.
Oh, I saw
Oh,
that one.
yes, those are very big this
Yeah.
year.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Although
Hmm.
that seems like it might be a little uncomfortable
I
to
don't
me,
know.
but
I
I
think
guess
it
it
just
depends
depends
on
on
the
how it
denim.
feels. Yeah.
Yeah.
The denim and if it's lined or not. If
Hmm.
it's not lined, that would be kind of, I
It's
mean,
tough.
yes.
It's always things like that that I wish there's things everything that I want on Madewell. I always go into the store and I'm like, oh, I want to try this on, but they never have it. That's one of the
No.
items that they probably wouldn't have in
I
the store for you to
know.
try on.
That's one of the
Yeah.
things. And we really felt that this year at the Nordstrom anniversary sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Going into stores these days, it can be so disappointing because they just don't carry the inventory that they
Mhm.
used to.
yeah.
And we really have to be thoughtful and be online and see because that's where
Mhm.
everything is
Well, and
online.
fortunately, most of these places have very generous return policies, so you
Mhm.
can get,
Yeah.
sometimes I'll buy the same thing in a couple different sizes and then just send back whichever one
Mhm.
I like least.
Mhm.
But it is hard, and it just becomes another step of something you have to do. But if
Mhm.
you don't live near a store like we don't, you
Mhm.
do.
You live, yeah, right.
Yeah,
You're in
I
Atlanta,
do.
so you can
But for
pop
us, it would
in.
be more of a hassle to actually go to the store to try something on than it is to
Mhm.
order it in multiple
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's
things
pretty
or
easy
whatever.
for me.
Mhm.
I will say a store that does, I feel like, carry a lot of their inventory. I know it's not all of it, but Anthropologie does a pretty good job of
Mhm.
having a decent amount, but they also have a really big store
Mhm.
Yeah.
compared
In
to
Atlanta, they do.
in
In
Atlanta.
Atlanta, they
Yeah.
do.
Yeah.
Like I was just in Savannah, and I always go into the Anthropology store there, and they have
Oh, yeah.
it's. I mean, it's a beautiful store, but they're
It's
still
smaller
limited.
than usual.
Mhm.
A
Yeah.
little lacking.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It is. So you do have to really kind of be thoughtful that there's way more online, and that really is the state of retail.
Hmm.
Everything is going online.
Yeah.
I mean, just like the fashion magazines, so goes the
Mhm.
fashion merchandise as well.
Yeah. It's
It's
true.
things have changed quite a bit since. I mean, I would say even in 10 years.
Yeah.
I would say.
Well, I mean, we've seen, and we have the opportunity to see that firsthand every single year with the Nordstrom anniversary sale, just the
Mm-hmm.
decline since COVID.
Mm-hmm.
That first year of COVID was horrible,
Mm-hmm.
obviously,
Mm-hmm.
but to see it not bounce back
No.
as it was before COVID has been
Mm-hmm.
kind of an eye opener. I
Mm-hmm.
think.
And that makes me sad. It makes me sad for the
Mhm.
sales associates there because
Yeah.
they're all on commission.
Yeah.
So it
Mhm.
makes it challenging for them if they don't have the inventory. I
Hmm.
mean, yes, they can order things online, which is nice for their customers, but
Yeah.
it's still it can be very challenging. So
So I have a question for
Yeah.
all of us. What of the trending things for 2024 do you want to maybe step outside your comfort zone to try, or um, maybe if it's not even a comfort zone thing, but like what item are you looking forward to testing out?
well, I will share that I have one of the strapless vests. So I
Mhm.
bought
Mm.
so it's a suit. So and it was from Ann Taylor. So I did buy
Mhm.
and I actually had to they only had one size available, so I actually had to size up a couple sizes. Then I took it into the
Mm-hmm.
or
Mhm.
seamstress extraordinaire. I knew I was fine. and it all worked out. But so I am testing that out, so I can wear it as a strapless suit,
Mm-hmm.
and then the blazer, and then the beautiful cuffed trousers. I mean, I like the whole ensemble. So I think for many of us that are of a certain age, and I will get this quite a bit, we're not supposed to show any skin, or we definitely don't want to show our kneecaps because I don't know, we should be embarrassed about our kneecaps.
Or your upper arm.
I get dinged a lot about, yes, showing my arms or showing, or having skirts too short. So I'm sure I will have, I'll get the business with this suit, but I am taking it on my cruise, my Mediterranean cruise.
nice.
I thought it'd be a beautiful evening outfit.
Yeah.
And then also, I really think that when the temperatures get a little bit chillier, then I can just put a blouse on and then put the vest over the top. Because I've seen things done like that.
that'll
And it
be
looks
cute.
very, very sharp. So,
Yeah.
so that is something that I am maybe. I don't think I'm being very daring, but I know that I will get.
Yeah.
I'll get some feedback.
But it's a new
on-
thing for you,
Mhm.
or a new,
Yeah.
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 What about you, Chelsea?
Oh gosh. Trying to think daring wise what I'm doing.
Or it doesn't even
doesn't
have,
even
to
have to be
daring,
daring.
but just something different
Yeah,
that you don't already have in your closet.
That maybe you'd like to
Something-
experiment with. Because
Well, something different that I've been noticing a lot is corduroy. Like corduroy pants.
Mhm.
I don't know how I feel about them, but I think I'd maybe have to just go and like
you've
try
never
them on.
you've never had corduroy
Oh,
pants,
I have as like a child,
but not as an adult.
but not as an adult.
Really?
I think maybe like in middle school I had them, but yeah, not really.
Oh,
adult.
Yeah.
I love them.
There's some really nice
I like
wide
'em.
wide leg
Yeah.
versions
Mhm.
this
It's
year.
like the I get like really specific when it comes to jeans, or it's like they gotta fit a certain way, and I just for corduroy it's like it needs to be a little stretchy. I just don't like anything that's not doesn't have that give, because then it kind of brings me back to my days when I was in middle and high school, when what you wore was the Hollister jeans that literally didn't stretch, and
Yeah.
you'd sit
Really?
down and they were like cutting off your circulation,
Yeah.
like no stretch at all,
didn't know that.
like zero stretch in the knees or why we wore those. I'm like,
I know,
because
because
bless, I hope that never comes back in style, because they were
Well-
also low rise too. So then you sit
Oh, I
down and your underwear
know.
would show in the back.
I
I
remember
know.
when that was a thing.
yeah. Well, thank goodness you're tiny and petite, because yes,
Yeah,
those
the rest of us didn't,
yeah, we had muffin
didn't
tops.
even
and-
go that way. Yeah. But I think you'll
We
find that
struggled with that.
corduroy just kind of naturally has a little bit of stretch to it.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's
think
rare to
so.
find a
I'll
super
have
stiff
to-
pair of corduroys because the nature of the fabric is very soft and so I
Okay.
don't think you'll find a too tight or a too unforgiving pair.
Mhm. I love
try 'em
corduroy.
I do too.
I like corduroy skirts, and I like
Mhm.
corduroy jeans, and I
Mhm.
love when it's in like a really deep dark brown. I
Oh, yeah.
love
You know
that.
what I think it
Very
is for
cozy.
me with
Mhm.
corduroy? It's so maybe this is like just a me thing,
Uh-huh.
but have you ever like even thinking about it right now, it kind of like gives me like chills, or just like sends like a little shiver up my spine. But have you ever like taken your fingernails to like velvet and like
Oh yeah.
Uh-huh.
that's like the feeling that I get when I think of corduroy.
You don't
That's
like
funny.
velvet?
You know what?
No, I do. It's just it's like the icky feeling that you would get like if you took your like nails or your fingers and like ran your hand across it. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yes, I do.
Yes,
Yes, I do.
But and the
You're a
thing-
very tactile person.
yeah.
A
And the thing-
tactile person, and there's no
But that's
nails against it.
when
It's
I
like a
think-
chalkboard kind of thing. it
kind of.
sounds like.
But when I think of corduroy,
It's velvet.
that's it. Kind of
Well-
thinks it brings me to that, and then that's what I have in my head.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So then I think, oh, when I'm gonna put my pants on, I'm gonna get that feeling.
well, you can like it depends on the fit of the corduroy, but when you
Mhm.
walk, if your thighs rub together, you will get a
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
You know, with the corduroy.
Uh-huh.
But that's
Anyways,
just
I
one
know
of
that's
its,
like a weird-
charms, I think.
Yeah, that's pretty
Yeah.
funny. I have to say that is pretty
It's
funny.
a weird thing,
Yeah.
but
Go try a pair on.
Yeah,
and
just
see.
try them. Yeah,
And,
just
and go for a looser fit, like wide leg.
okay.
they do.
style.
Actually, over at Anthropology, my favorite pant is the Colette pant. I was
Mm.
just looking. They have
Yeah.
a wide leg corduroy
Oh,
with
that's
the
cute.
the
Yeah.
patch pockets, and they have a deep brown, which I love. That just reminds me of Carolyn Bessette Kennedy. She had a very iconic outfit, and it was dark brown corduroys, simple black turtleneck, and I think black boots.
Mhm.
And then she had her Birkin bag,
Yeah.
I believe. So very classic, timeless, and
No, it is. I like the way that
yes.
it looks. I
Uh-huh.
just
Well,
have to
that's
get
part
over
of the.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always some amount of corduroy every fall, but I think with preppy and collegiate styles being kind of
Yes.
more on trend this year than
There's
many years
more.
before, there's a lot
Mhm.
more
Yeah.
corduroy
Yeah.
to choose
For
from.
sure.
And speaking of that, the one
Uh-huh.
thing that I'm really excited to step out and try are neckties.
Mm.
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
So I actually have a
That's like back from the Avril Lavigne days.
Yeah.
I actually have a couple really nice Brooks Brothers neckties that I've
Uh-huh.
held on to for years because I was like, these are definitely going to come back in style at some
Uh-huh.
point. I'm just going to hold on to them,
And
and I'm
now
glad I
they
did because now maybe
have.
I can wear them.
Uh-huh.
But when I was in high school and beyond high school, like going vintage shopping was one of my favorite things to do, and I would always snap up a vintage skinny,
Mm-hmm.
men's tie or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I did see quite a bit of in my research for this podcast and just for what we do for work every day. I have seen quite a lot of neckties on women with part of the whole menswear inspired and collegiate looks that are really trending.
Mm-hmm.
And then it was really fun to watch Emily in Paris because that show is so set about fashion.
Mm-hmm.
She had one
And
outfit that was
yes,
very
she
menswear, and
did.
she had
And
like
she
the
had
slick
the
back
very
hair.
cute
Uh-huh.
little
Yeah.
necktie. And I was like, see, they're just so.
Yeah.
And you look to shows like that, and I used to do this with Sex in
Mhm.
the City all the time too. Watching it in real time, they're totally forecasting all of
Mhm.
the trending things of the time.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really fun to watch that or to see something that I've been contemplating and to see it turn up on a show that's very fashion forward. I was like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm gonna step out and
Yeah, I'm gonna
try a
do
necktie.
that.
I'm
I
gonna do
know.
it.
I feel
So-
like I watch shows like that, and then it makes me wish. I'm like, I wish I had a job that I
Could dress
needed
up for.
to go in and. But then it's like you'd have that job, and you'd be like annoyed that you have to go in and get dressed every
Mm.
day.
I don't know. I don't
But I'm like, there is something fun
Uh-huh.
about
Dressing for work.
clothes.
like
Clothes
dressing for
are
work.
powerful.
Yeah.
Clothes are powerful, and they make a statement. And that's why we still have fashion magazines, and we have the fall fashion trends, and we have
Mhm.
the runway shows, and I mean
Yeah.
Oh,
Paris, Milan, New York, and where's the other one? London.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
mean,
Yeah.
spring and fall.
Yeah.
So it's still, but I love spring fashion, but just not as much as fall. I
Yeah.
mean,
Yeah,
fall
fall fashion
really
is way
is. Mm-hmm.
I've always been
Much more impactful.
I've always been this way, but I love a good jacket.
Mm-hmm. Third
I've
layer.
never been in. Well, I like shoes, but you know how they say like, oh, women are always into shoes, or like
Mhm.
they have
Mhm.
so many shoes.
Mm-hmm.
For me, it's jackets.
Yeah.
Like every single year, I'll
Mhm.
probably buy like 2 or 3 jackets.
Mhm.
Then I cannot believe that you do not have a trench coat in
I
your
know.
I know, I
collection.
don't
Or a
have
barn jacket. What is wrong with you?
I did have a barn jacket, but I got rid of it.
Uh-huh.
Because
Okay.
unlike you, I don't save stuff.
Oh.
So I'm very much one of those people that like in my closet,
You get rid of it?
if I haven't worn it
Uh-huh.
in like, a year or two, I'm like, all right, we're getting rid of
Mhm.
this. So I did have a bar jacket because I used to work for J. Crew.
I know. I remember.
I hated that job.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Sorry,
retail's hard.
apologies to-
Retail's hard. It is.
Mm.
But that's where my barn jacket was from,
Mhm.
was J. Crew.
Mhm.
Um,
They have great
I don't know
outerwear.
why I didn't keep it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
because
think
that's a classic.
I think it was uncomfortable.
So next time,
I didn't like the tech.
Too,
It was very stiff.
well, next time you get a barn jacket, keep it. I mean, we'll make
Yeah.
sure it's comfortable, but it's a classic that
Yeah.
never goes out of
Yeah,
style.
those are the
Mhm.
only 2 jackets really that I don't have though.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
much
trench
have
coats are
everything else.
yes, they're so classic, and they're.
Um,
I mean, especially if you like coats and jackets, you love that third layer. I like trench coats, and we trot them out all the time because it's a great packable outerwear, and it really can kill a lot of birds with
Yeah.
one stone.
Yeah.
Because you can really dress it up. You can, I mean, it can go over your evening outfit. It can go over
Yeah.
your jeans. It's very serviceable
Yeah, very
and
versatile.
iconic, and
yeah,
I love them. And
Mhm.
you were talking about different renditions of the trench coat, and that's
Mhm.
when something is on trend, then you will find that.
Mhm.
And one of my favorite trench coats to this day is from Banana Republic. It's about 10 years old, and it's snake print.
Oh yeah.
And
Oh,
every
yeah.
time I wear that, everybody wants it. Everybody wants to know where they can get
Oh
it,
my
and I'm like,
gosh.
well, you'll have to go on eBay or
I
Poshmark.
had a jacket like that one year that still to this day, I just kick myself because so basically my mom was selling her townhome in Woodstock, and she had an estate sale. Well, like we had taken all of the stuff that we didn't want to sell. Well, I guess I left this jacket
Oh no.
in the house, and I didn't realize it.
In the to sell pile.
And I loved it. Was like this cream colored, like really long jacket that like had like a really cool texture to it. And it was from Lou and Gray, which they used to have a store, like a brick and mortar at Avalon, but they don't have it there anymore. And I actually really liked it because they had a lot of classic, just, you know, tank tops, t-shirts, pieces.
Yeah.
And yeah, to this day, we moved and then I couldn't find it. I mean, it was the biggest jacket. I was like, that's not a jacket that you lose.
Right.
Like someone bought it.
Yeah.
I think we each have a piece like that. It's like, it's not only the man that got away, but you have the fashion item that got away, and you still are longing for it.
Yeah.
I looked everywhere for that jacket.
Well, somebody somewhere is wearing your coat.
It's probably
Chelsea.
sitting at like a Goodwill right now.
They're loving it. Well, hopefully whoever bought it has given it a good home and they love it.
Yeah,
they loved it as much as you do. So what about colors this year? So we've talked a little bit. So leopard is really big. The English countryside is really big. So there are a few colors that are really trending this fall, and I'm here for it. So one of my favorites is burgundy, or some people are calling it oxblood. And yes, we know there's a difference between those colors, but I mean that's what's available. So.
You know, I mean, I've seen it called all things from, you know, burgundy, oxblood, mulberry, merlot. I mean, there's
crimson.
They'll all name. They'll all
I'm
name
here
it
for the
something.
burgundy.
Roll Tide. For those of you Alabama fans, the Crimson Tide. So I love burgundy, and I think it's a very flattering color for everyone.
I think especially if you're red averse, like if you're someone who doesn't like to dress flashy, and so red might not be your thing. Red's been so popular the last couple years that if you want to go warmer and do that, burgundy or something like it is a very forgiving color to wear.
I actually don't think a lot of people look good in red. I'm just gonna say that.
Really?
I think there's a red for you. I mean, like any colors, there you have that spectrum. So you're going to have the cool reds, and then you're going to have the warm reds. So I truly think you just need to understand where you fall. With the color
like
palette,
your skin tone or your hair color.
But I do agree. Like I do think the burgundy kind of
it's pretty universal,
like forgiving for people.
It's a very flattering color, and it can act as a neutral. And I have shared this over on the blog many times. I believe that olive green and burgundy truly can act as a neutral, and you can build your wardrobe staples with that color.
Yeah.
So it's just like navy, it's just like black, it's just like white. And there again, you can find that shade that's absolutely perfect for you.
Right.
So, we hear this all the time. So many people get very locked into their colors, and I still get this over on the blog, even over on YouTube. Oh, what are you, a spring? Are you a summer? Because years ago, that's how we did colors. It was what season you were in. So it's always kind of a dead giveaway. Well, that's from the 80s or the 90s. It's
People still do that where it's like the find your color.
They do, but now they have different things. So now it's like, so you can take a look at what your veins look like. They have this scarf method now.
Yeah.
And I do believe that there are certain colors that look better on you than others, but I don't think you need to get locked into
just
scheme.
Don't wear something
like you can only wear blue
because
yes,
that's what I'm like. Even if I were to do that, because I've had friends that have done that before, but I'm like, okay, so if they tell me I can't wear red or I can't, but I'm like, what, am I just never gonna wear that?
I know
again.
I know.
I think
that's
ridiculous. It is ridiculous, but there's a lot of people out there who hold fast and true to the idea that color is not for them.
Exactly. Yes. And people are always coming over and saying, or they'll tell me that I should only wear silver jewelry because my hair is gray now. And it's like, I think I'm going to continue to wear my gold jewelry too. Because I mean, who doesn't look good in gold hoops?
Yeah.
No one?
I mean,
no one?
Yeah. I think a couple of colors that are still trending for fall that had been trending since, the fall shows last year. Butter yellow and sky blue and chartreuse. Like
I love
I think
chartreuse.
there was a whole like brat green summer thing, but or brat summer green thing. But butter yellow, chartreuse, and sky blue are still really going strong, and you can see it. I mean, you go to any fashion website and you're looking to shop, and usually all of their new arrivals are arranged by color. And you just look at how many things that they're offering in sky blue. And I know the chartreuse kind of goes from like olive to brighter olive to less bright olive and things like that. But I just love, and the butter yellow, I just love all those colors. Yeah, it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Well, what do you think about tall boots? Because those
I
are
love
supposed
tall
to be
boots.
trending again. But there again, I don't think they ever really go out of style.
No.
But now with the English countryside trend, we can tuck our jeans back inside of our boots. And it's very cool.
Yeah.
It's a very chic look this year. So.
Yeah, I mean,
I was never not doing that. Also,
I know, right?
That's why I'm like, the skinny jeans should have never gone out of style. Because when am I supposed to shove these wide leg pants in my boot? That's just uncomfortable.
That is one good reason to keep at least one pair of skinny jeans on
Yeah.
hands.
Yeah.
Yes, is to tuck it inside your
Yeah.
boots. But I love that look.
I'm really loving tall boots and knee length or shorter skirts.
I've
So,
always
yeah.
liked that.
Yeah, and I know that Saison, that French company, is really, they do this every year, and it's so cute. But they've got, knee length or a little bit shorter skirts, and then over the knee boots, which I really love. I think
I
that's
love
such
over the knee boots.
such a cute look.
The only problem that I have with boots is, and this is definitely a me problem, It's not. But I broke the toe that's like closest to my pinky when I was in high school. This girl I had jazz shoes on, and she stepped on my toe with a tap shoe on, and it like broke, and then it never healed properly. Because I mean, what do you do for a broken toe?
Nothing.
And so now I have to like size half a size up in the boots, and it still kind of creates problems because you know how some boots get really narrow.
Yeah.
It will start to bother me so bad, just that one toe, to this day.
Well, luckily for
Isn't that
you,
funny?
square toe styles are really, really in fashion right now.
I'm glad you brought that up,
Yes,
Kelly.
of
We were just talking about this. So I just purchased a pair of square-toed loafers, and so Kelly and I got into this discussion about that. So in the early aughts, that's when square toes were in fashion,
Yeah.
and my heart was broken when they finally bit the dust.
You know what I think about this new wave of square toe stuff is that it's more refined, right? I feel like the looks and the silhouettes of the shoes is way, way more refined than it was in the 90s.
You think so?
Yeah.
I kind of do, yeah.
Like for
because
loafers?
I don't know. I love them back then. So
Whether they're
for any shoes, I mean,
any
so square boots,
Yeah.
square. So you can have a skinny square, you can have a wider square.
yeah.
There's a variety of
There
square
are.
silhouettes out there, but I was really excited to see that because I loved it
I
20 years ago, and I was really heartbroken when we went to more of a rounded toe.
I
So I'm
think
like,
what the difference between then and now, just me personally, what I feel like is that I feel the refinement has come in the proportions between the heel and the square of the toe. I feel like they've gotten way more sleek in terms of like looking like the whole shoe is the whole shoe rather than having a heel that is like not, it's like incongruous with the square toe sometimes, I think is what. I'm not explaining this very well, but I do think proportionally the new wave of square toe shoes looks so much more wearable and chic than perhaps they may have
Years gone by.
Yeah, that's just my opinion.
Well, I was very happy to see those back in stock, and yes, and tall boots. But there again, I don't think they ever really go out of style.
Yeah.
Well, Frances Valentine has been doing square toe
Forever.
shoes for, I mean, it's
That's
part
why I
of
love them
their
so much.
1960s. It's a very mod style.
It is, yes.
Which is another thing I think about, like the square toe loafers that you got. They're reminiscent of that mod style, but they're not so overtly mod that they feel like a retro piece. Like it feels updated for 2024, but it still has those characteristics that equate comfort, really, when you think about it. So,
and they're flat, and I really like the heel too. So, those of you who follow the blog, stay tuned because they are super cute black loafers. They're Schutz, which is a great affordable shoe brand, and they do a lot of replicas from like Manolo Blahniks.
right.
They'll do a replica of that. I mean, they also have their own versions, new versions of things, not just replicas. But so affordable and really well-made shoes. It's kind of like a Steve Madden or a
I'd say it's
Jeffrey
I
Campbell,
was gonna say
Sam
it's more like
Edelman.
Jeffrey or Sam Edelman or
Mhm.
Jeffrey Campbell. Like it feels like a level up
Mhm.
than Steve Madden. I
Mhm.
think. Price wise, I think they're decent investment shoes too.
Mhm.
Like quality,
Mhm.
they're good.
The quality is definitely there.
Mhm.
Okay, ladies. So, what else are we seeing on the fashion runways that we're liking for fall?
Well,
Studs. Lots of studs.
studs, lots
Yes.
of
Jeans.
studs.
I'm actually
Yeah.
liking that.
Yeah.
I had one of my friends, I met her for coffee the other day, and she had these jeans that had studs on the side. And I was like, oh,
Really?
those are super cute.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you only want to dip your toe into the water of studs, Madewell has really cute ballet flats that have
have the
really
studs
cute
on 'em.
studs.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm. Mhm.
which is kind of a nice way to like feel au courant, but not like go all out with
Mhm.
studded jeans or
Uh-huh.
jackets or things like that.
So, you think you would get a pair of denim with studs on it, or are there
I would.
jackets?
I don't know if Madewell has any studded denim. I
They
don't know
do.
where. Oh, they do.
They do.
I thought they were super cute.
Mhm.
So I mean, it's like I feel like it would be a cute way to, if you want to wear jeans, maybe to like a dinner,
A
dress it
little
up
bit.
with like a little bit of a top and a heel, and then
You could have a cute little
Mm-hmm.
clutch bag
yeah,
and look a
and
little
then you've got like
elevated.
the studs on the side, but not
Uh-huh.
wear a dress or
Mhm.
be
Yeah.
super fancy.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I like it.
So, what do you have your eye on?
Well, I'm always happy when faux fur it's time for faux fur because I just can't get enough of that.
I'm glad you brought that up because that's really kind of disappeared the past couple of years. It was
It kind
really
of
big
has,
about
yeah.
It did kind of disappear.
5 years ago, 6 years
I
ago.
feel like Sherpa and teddy bear
Oh,
things
Sherpa's
kind of
so
market
big.
corrected faux fur for a little while, but I'm glad to see faux fur back. And even if you're not getting it in like leopard print or something,
Mm-hmm.
I think there's a lot of fun. There's a lot of fun faux fur styles.
So when I lived in New York,
Mhm.
I think I had this was when I was in grad school. I had a leopard faux fur vest
Uh-huh.
from Forever 21.
Yeah.
That sounds about right.
I look back
You're
and
hot
I'm
shit,
like,
I bet.
I'm like, oh my God.
Did you wear it
Of course.
nonstop?
Yeah, duh. And now I look back and I'm like, oh, good God. I'm like, that was horrific. What was I wearing? But it was like,
But
I
probably
mean,
not.
well,
But probably not.
it was just the fact that it was like Forever 21, and like obviously we know we
Yeah.
just
Mhm.
it was not a nicely done
Mhm.
vest.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah,
this
there's
year
quality
you can
and then
find a well-made leopard vest if you so choose, because I've seen several out there.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Well, several years ago, in fact, I bought it for when Alex and I got married, thinking that if it was cold, this would be the jacket that I'd wear over my wedding dress
Mm-hmm.
at the reception. And it's a snow leopard print cropped faux fur jacket.
Ooh.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and it was from like J. Crew collection,
Uh-huh.
so it wasn't like the cheapest thing on J. Crew's website or anything
Mhm.
like that. But this is one of those jackets that if I ever lost it, I'd be really upset. Like
Mhm.
your
Yeah.
jacket.
Mhm.
And I actually wore it to your wedding.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, over my sequin dress. It's just one of those things because it is an animal print, but it's like white and beige and gray.
Yeah.
So it doesn't feel as overt as like a regular leopard print, but
Mhm.
but it's just one of those jackets that I'm like, I am busting that thing out. Like I just love any opportunity to wear that jacket. So I'm just
Isn't it
I'm
funny?
glad.
We get, I mean, that's what I also love about clothes. And so this is not exclusive to fall fashion, but we really become very attached to certain items.
Yeah.
And also memories are attached
Yeah.
to certain clothing items
Sure.
as well. So, but I mean, they really,
Yeah.
they can have our heart, or we can actually feel very strongly against something
Yeah.
like the leopard. Oh, that's so tacky. And, you don't ever wear something like that. So
Right.
it's, I mean, fashion really does brings a lot of emotion. So
Even if
It's
you don't
just
think
funny
you're into
because
it.
Some of the things that you wear and then you look back and
I
you're
know.
like, what in the world
I
was
know.
I?
Gosh, tell me about it.
but there's some
Yeah.
things, I mean, I look back like 40 years ago and I'm like, yeah, that was a pretty hot outfit back then.
Oh
And
yeah.
you could do somewhat of a translation.
Well, this is why I'm kind of glad this fall, like a lot of the classic styles are coming
Yes.
back.
I love that. I think that's why I love this season
because,
so
Yeah.
much.
you
Mhm.
know, this will be a season for sure where you'll look back and you'll say, okay, I can probably keep this in 10, 15 years from now. I can probably pull it back out and it's still going to be in style, which is nice.
Yes.
Right.
You know, you're not just buying it and then a year later going, okay, no.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm all for a closet cleanse where you get rid of stuff that you haven't worn.
Yeah.
But I think that once, and especially once you're paying more attention to how cyclical things are or the direction that things are going, you can kind of think, okay, I may not have worn this the last couple years, but I know that this is something that's going to come back. And so you just put it in the back of the closet.
Yeah.
Save it for later because it will come back around probably. And it's worth keeping if you have the space to keep it.
Right.
Right.
Well, now trends are cycling through much faster than they used to be.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was growing up, it would be, I can remember my mom saying, oh, that was, really popular when I was a teen. And she was like 40 something.
Yeah.
So, and that was the first time that I really heard about a trend coming back into Vogue. So,
Right.
but now it's just like, I mean,
It does
just
happen a lot faster.
it happens quite a bit faster. So yes, if you have the space, definitely hang on to something that you love, especially if it leans more towards a classic
Yes.
item. I mean, and I think that leopard is. I think honestly, burgundy is. One thing I did want to mention because I love accessories, and talk about that so much over on the blog and YouTube. But I'm loving the ladylike handbags
Oh, yeah.
this year. So
Mhm.
we have a lot of the little top handle handbags, and they're a little bit smaller in silhouette.
Yeah, I
And
like those.
it's very feminine. So I think that's also, kind of something that we're seeing this year too,
Yeah.
is embracing femininity, and I like that. So
For sure.
yeah.
Yeah. Elegance is definitely one of the trending looks this year.
I love that. Well, I will mention before we wrap this up, and we will take a quick break. So those of you that are listening to us on the podcast, and we do have people that tune in and watch us over on YouTube, but we do have a series over on Instagram where we interpret style, and it's called Style at Every Age. So Chelsea's 35, I'm 66, and Kelly is 47, soon to be 48. You have a birthday coming up here, girlfriend. Can't believe that. But anyway, so if you're interested in how we interpret style, not only fashion trends, but classics. And so we pick one item, and so each of us interprets how we are going to wear that. And actually, it's getting a little bit of traction over on Instagram.
It is, yeah.
It's super fun. I mean, I have to say, I love working with my daughters-in-law, and I love our little fashion segment too. So you can follow us over at Message for Mom over on Instagram. We do share the fashion reels over there, or you can follow me at Style at a Certain Age. But it is a lot of fun. And if you love fashion as much as we do, definitely tune into that. So, and we will take a quick break and return with New and Noteworthy. And we're back. And I say this every week, but I do know that not all of you are tuning in faithfully every week. Many of you are, so thank you for that. And I will just give a plug. So if you're listening on Apple or Spotify, there is a review section over there. And if you can give us a review, that would really help us grow our podcast. So just a little aside, but New and Noteworthy is where Kelly and Chelsea and I share, just like all good girlfriends do, what we've discovered. So that could be a book, it could be a TV show, maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a product. So, and I just always love to hear what is on their radar screen, because many times I have never heard of it, and then it is on my radar screen. So, Kelly, I'm going to kick it off with you this week. So what do you have that's new and noteworthy?
Well, per usual, I have a TV show.
Oh, no. Kelly, watching TV?
Yeah.
It's not possible.
So there's this great Apple TV show that I just got turned on to called La Maison. And it is, since this episode is all about fall fashion, I thought it would be the perfect show to share. So the show follows, it kind of takes you behind the scenes of an iconic haute couture fashion house in Paris. It's run by a family, and, they've all got their little inner workings that are pretty dysfunctional. And so you get a little intrigue with that. One of the brothers of the La Maison house works for the rival company. So you get that kind of drama.
A little intrigue.
And that rival company is, trying to buy out La Maison. And so the main designer and this happens in episode 1, but the main designer at La Maison, very famous guy, head of the house, blah, blah, blah. He basically gets canceled for saying some racist things.
Oh.
Okay, so that's
So
where
it's set
it
in modern
starts.
time then.
Yes, it's modern
Okay.
times.
Okay. I was thinking for, I don't know, whatever reason, I was thinking it could be
Nope, no,
set in a
modern
different time period. Okay.
modern
so,
times.
Modern
Yeah.
times. Okay.
So he kind of gets canceled straight out the gate, and so what then transpires is, how do they keep the house? How do they keep the other company from buying them out? And the brothers, kind of double dipping there between the two. It's very interesting.
Okay.
It's a French language show, so you will have to read some subtitles.
Okay.
I do think that Apple dubs stuff. So if you're absolutely against subtitles, you can listen to a dubbed version. But it's great to hear it in French. Paris is beautiful.
Yes.
It was really great to come off of watching Emily in Paris and then find this more kind of sophisticated, yet still set in fashion show. It's a little bit more dramatic. It's not a comedy like Emily in Paris. So, but you still get all the beautiful Paris shots and stuff, and it's all still fashion. So it's fun. I've enjoyed it so far. I've seen a few episodes.
Okay.
But that's on Apple TV.
It's on my list. So they just have one season out?
So far, it just started.
It just started. Okay. And they're dropping it episode by episode?
Yes, it's episodic. And I want to say that the episodes come out on either Monday or Friday.
Okay.
I can't remember.
It's on my list. It's on my list because we have some binge watching TV this winter. So, all right. Thanks, Kelly.
Yeah.
Okay, Chelsea, what's new or noteworthy for you?
So I have probiotics.
Probiotics. Well, I'm pretty big on supplements, so
But I've tried quite a few probiotics, coming from someone that has stomach issues.
Yeah.
And this is my favorite one that I've tried. And it's by this company and this girl. Her name's Olivia, but her company's called Organic Olivia. I've talked about her company before. She does a bunch of different like tinctures and supplements, but this probiotic, it's got prebiotics and probiotics in it, and all in one.
That's nice.
And honestly, it really is the best probiotic that I've found.
So it doesn't upset your stomach, because that's one of the
No,
things
it
that I
doesn't.
have found also with probiotics. It can sit in your stomach, and
I take it at night. So you're supposed to take probiotics at nighttime before you go to bed. Where you kind of have more of an emptier stomach.
Yeah.
So I take it at night, and no, I mean, I think I like it a lot. So
Is it a capsule or is it a powder that you drink?
It's a capsule.
Okay.
But I cannot swallow pills, so I actually take it and
you mush it up.
well, I put it in I put it in my drink.
So
it works.
Is it online, or can we find it in the stores?
You
as
do
well?
have to buy it online. I think if you live maybe somewhere like California or that might be like in certain stores out there, but we would anywhere else you'd have to buy it online. So Organic Olivia is the website, and we can link that.
Okay.
She does have like subscription services that you can do. So that's normally what I do.
That's always nice, and then you don't have to remember that
And then
you're
you don't
almost
have to
out of
remember.
something.
And it's a little cheaper if you do the subscription anyways, but like one bottle is like a month. So she just basically,
Every month.
yeah.
Nice.
Well, I also have a TV show, and
Oh.
since we are talking about fall fashion, so we had chatted about Emily in Paris in another podcast for our fall TV shows. So I had to bring up Emily in Paris, but part 2. I was not a big fan of part 1, and loved part 2, and I think part of it was set in Rome. The last couple of episodes were in Rome, and I love Rome just as much as I do Paris. And it was, I mean, I love this show just because of the setting. I'm telling you.
Yeah, I know.
It's just,
So fun.
it's amazing. But great show, great fashion. Since we were talking about fashion, I thought it really fit in. And Emily is kind of a numbskull sometimes when it comes to decisions and love. But I think that's what keeps us tuning in.
Yeah.
It really does. But I particularly like part 2 because they introduced a new character, Marcello, who is Emily's latest love interest. This is her 3rd major love interest, even though she's also had some like one night stands as well. Kind of like Sex in the City, but not. But anyway, I'm liking where it's going, and I really hope that next season when it returns that the French chef does not get Emily's fair hand. I really hope that Marcello does. But anyway, it's just a fun show set in beautiful settings and great fashion.
Yeah.
Just amazing. And then not only do I love Emily's clothes and Mindy's clothes, but Sylvie, who is Emily's boss, I think she steals a scene.
I do too.
9 times out of 10.
Yeah.
And boy, is she smoking hot.
Yeah.
I just love her.
Yeah.
Great figure. And she really depicts, and she's probably in her 50s, I'm guessing, in the show. And just beautiful, beautiful woman, but really depicts aging and aging well. And
yeah, I totally agree.
I don't think she's fooled around too much with her face.
Doesn't look like it at all.
Which is nice.
Actually. She's
really
my
nice to
favorite
see.
Character on that show.
Yeah, beautiful
By
outfits.
Yeah.
All right, ladies. Well, I think that wraps it up for another episode of Message from Mom, where we are busting the myth that mothers-in-law aren't necessarily monsters-in-law.